welcome to another battle commentary in Napoleon Total War. Today we go back to the roots of competitive NTW games and watch a 2v2 battle on the Grassy Flatlands. Many players nowadays don't like to play Grassy because it's often a slower game with widespread deployment. Playing on Grassy Flatlands is definitely different to fighting on very limited space for narrow passages, for example. And yeah, other tactics are needed here, which also can be used on terrain maps. So this is definitely beneficial to also play Grassy Flatlands, to be to know more about the game and about the tactics, so you are better prepared for any kind of opponent and his tactics. So let's get started. The game we watch is another battle from the Heroes&Generals Tournament 2023 group stage. As players we have Goldi&Ultimo. Ultimo here with Prussia on the host position, attacker side, with 4 light infantry spread all over his formation, 3 guards behind and 4 lancers. So the classic Prussian build without militia, but 1 more guard infantry. Next to him, as I said, Goldi here with France. He has a very defensive build with 4 lights as well, but one of them is the 6th Regiment d'Infanterie Légère, so the very good light infantry unit of France, which is basically at the same level as the Prussian Fusiliers. He also brought 1 militia for backing up his light infantry and helping them in the light infantry combat. He has 6 cavalry, chasseurs cheval, 2 of them, chevaux légers lances, chasseurs cheval, lances, chasseurs cheval, so 4 chasseurs cheval and 2 chevaux légers lancer units. Classic general staff. And this is interesting, he only brought 1 old guard, which is here in the center, together with the 18th Regiment d'Infanterie de Ligne, the Brave, 1 Fusilier, another Fusilier, another Fusilier, and here on his left flank there are just 2 Swissfoots and the Guard Seamen, which are well, a good unit as well, but of course not at the same level as the Old Guard unit. And placing them here on his left means that he doesn't want to push here on the left, and maybe just together with Ultimo here in the middle, with because of this old guard deployment here in the middle. So this is interesting, and this set us, the other 2 players, Dinci and me, a lot about their tactics. So basically from this army composition and deployment we know Goldi will play defensive and Ultimo will try to gain an advantage with Prussia against Spain on the host position, which is a bit in favor of the attacker because the road is closer to him. You can see it especially very well on the minimap. Here we are on the blue side, and the road is a bit closer to him, so he will arrive there first. And of course he's fighting Spain, so Prussia is definitely a much better nation regarding also the light infantry combat. So it's a good tactic to concentrate on Spain. And Goldi will try to support maybe Ultimo at some point with his good units in the center. I also play France, so we have a mirror match here. I play 4 voltiges in the center of my formation, together with also the 18th Regiment and one old guard in the middle, backed up by 2 chasseurs cheval. 2 Swiss foots are watching my voltigeurs back, and yeah, I also have 1 militia together with another 2 Swiss foots and a Fusilier unit and another old guard. 2 more chasseurs cheval are on my right, 2 more are in the center, so 6 chasseurs cheval and 6 cavalry in total. Classic general stuff by me, of mine here in the center as well. Dinci, here with Spain, has his light infantry in the center. A lot of Fusiliers, backed up by 2 Walloon guards, which are in the second row, 2 Fusiliers watching his center, and he has 5 cavalry, Lanceros. All of them are leveled up. Most of them are leveled up twice. 1 is leveled up 3 times, and he brought Francisco Castaños, the 6-star general. Let's go. Why did I play France on position 2, defender side? I already described the road is in favor of the attacker over here. Over here on the position 2, it's a bit in favor of the defender side. In the middle, it's quite even. And especially there is no road anymore on this side, so it's completely flat over here. So if you want to attack, like if only one player of the 2 players wants to play aggressive, then it's wise to play from defender side to play aggressive on position 2. That's why I'm here with France. Otherwise, I had to attack against the road here on position 1, which is very annoying, especially with France, where the voltigeurs are, well, they are good against Prussian Fusiliers, but only when they are used defensive, and when you have a lot of space. And both situations are not given if I played position 1 on defender side. So I arrived here first. Of course, I have a bit of a problem against the 6th Regiment here with my voltigeurs. I planned some stakes already. It's important to not plant stakes everywhere at the same time, because he will otherwise he will just approach and shoot the voltigeurs while they are placing stakes. In such a scenario, if he advances, then he will get shot by another unit. So this is why I'm not placing stakes with all my units at the same time. Over here he has a voltigeur unit watching my 18th Regiment and Old Guard, so I can't approach there for the moment. Overall, we saw different kinds of deployment here by Dinci and by Ultimo. Ultimo spread all his light infantry in front of his formation. Dinci had his light infantry in the center. This is like my style of playing, the old style, let's call it like this, which has some advantages and disadvantages. The disadvantage obviously is when the other player has a light infantry on the flank, he can get shots on your stationary Fusiliers or line infantry. In this Fusiliers, in this case, line infantry overall. Of course, if you don't pay attention, but this is yeah, this should not be happening. So the good thing of playing light infantry in the center is that your force is more maneuverable, and you can attack more easily when you have a line infantry on both flanks. Normally, people also adapt to your formation. When you have your light infantry in the center, they normally also adapt their formation and use their light infantry in the center as well. Playing a spread light infantry is far more defensive way of playing, and it's more concentrated on kiting and more on running backwards or holding the position but not attacking himself, apart from maybe sending Schudecker forward or a line infantry forward to shoot a volley and then go back again. But this is not what I want to do. Normally I want to push on the flanks, especially in a 1v1, so a light infantry formation in the center is much more useful in my opinion. So not much happening here for the moment. Ultimo sends his Fusiliers here on the flank. Dinci reacted to this and has his light infantry here ready to counter them. But at this moment he should already be in light infantry formation, which he deploys in now. Yeah, nice. Over here Ultimo pushes with a Fusilier unit as well. Dinci's falling back and also dispatches a light infantry over here. But it's kind of risky to still be in normal formation, because if the Ultimo approaches, which he does now, and was a bit faster than he was, then he would have gotten a shot on the line formation of light infantry, which is kind of deadly. Some musketeers advance and take the first shots of the light infantry of Spain while the Fusiliers are approaching, so the musketeers are kind of used as a meat shield, instead of a militia, which is strange, but okay. The light infantry is deployed here in the trees, which is very good. But some Fusiliers, this unit should have approached and countered this musketeer unit by now. Now the light infantry is retreating and the Fusiliers are approaching, but this is not what you want to happen, that the Fusiliers shoot the Prussian Fusiliers shoot the Spanish line infantry. You want the Fusiliers to shoot at the cheap light infantry in light formation on maximum distance, so the Prussian Fusiliers spend their ammunition on the Spanish lights and not your line infantry. Luckily for Dinci in this situation, the Prussian Fusiliers were still reloading and nobody really got damaged from the Spanish line, and Ultimo got 10 men casualties. Over here I engaged with some voltiges over here and over here. He's quite cautious with his 6th regiment, but in fact still shoots against voltiges covered in the road, so he has to change this kind of situation, and he does that by retreating and counting on me having attack orders on his unit, which I had, and he hoped that I will follow him and my voltiges would walk towards him, and then he shoots again and will kill much more of my unit than when I'm covered and kneeling down here. But I didn't follow him, so for the moment he just retreated 6th regiment. He's shooting with his militia against my voltigeurs. They are a good target, and I'm covered, so this is a good situation for me. Over here, you see both are kind of cautious. They spread their light infantry now. This limits their maneuvers for attacking. But again, Ultimo uses a musketeer unit, so a line infantry unit, as a meat shield, and is too slow with his Prussian Fusiliers to follow the kiting Spanish light infantry. And yeah, also his backup lines are by far too far away. If Dinci was in fight with this Prussian Fusilier and pins down those Fusiliers in a shootout, then he could use a cavalry to take advantage of this situation and destroy a lot of Prussian Fusiliers in the center before the backup lines could approach. Over here I engaged with my militia and my voltigeurs on the far right, and he's shooting with chasseur cheval against the voltigeurs, but this is not cost effective. He killed one man with his chasseur cheval volley. You should really think of that, if this is like, if you want to do this, to spend ammunition with your shooter cuff against kneeing light infantry. Very important for the light infantry player in this situation is to not run away, because if they are not kneeling down and taking cover but running, then they are better targets for the shooter cavalry and they will kill a lot by this. I'm targeting the more valuable 18th Regiment over here with my light infantry, and I'm still shooting with 2 units against the voltigeurs, but they are covered behind the stakes. And I saw that there are no backup lines in the center. This one is a Lancer unit, no shooter cuff, so they can't shoot obviously, and this one is a chasseur cheval, which is still reloading after their shot, and this Fusilier unit also shot their muskets. So I'm approaching with my Fusiliers and a chasseur cheval unit here through the gap between the stake lines. I wanted to target the chasseur cheval, but he did not square, so I targeted the square, and now my Fusiliers can shoot a full volley. The Lancers are kind of useless. They get a bad charge on my chasseur cheval because they were running through these trees here, which slowed them down. I got a charge on the voltigeurs, and I still have 28 men. My general is close to the action. I squared against the Lancers, which are already out of the game. He squared over here and targets with the 6th Regiment, but I return back to this side. He squared this time with the Fusiliers, but he did mess up his attack orders with the Fusiliers over here, and I get another charge on the voltigeur unit over here. So this was a very cost-effective cavalry. A lot of damage has been made, and his formation is in chaos. Over here, for some reason, Ultimo retreated quite a lot and has only 1 musketeer unit and a Prussian Fusilier unit still holding the flank. The guard is in the center, and Dinci can approach and overflank, and this is actually the only situation which is dangerous for Prussia in such a scenario. The only thing Spain has what Prussia doesn't have is better cavalry, and yeah, so the only thing you don't want to happen is that Spain can overflank you and use the cavalry on the flank against yeah, running around you, and you have to react by either running away or using your own cavalry against them, which is in favor of Spain. So this is a very bad move by Prussia here to let Dinci go around, and also he gives up his position in the road, which gave him so many advantages. So this is kind of irrational here. We have a light infantry against Prussian Fusiliers here in the center. Overall, when you play Spain against Prussia, you want to spread your light infantry as much as possible, not in the ultra-wide formation, snake line, but like the normal formation like this is very useful because you won't get as many casualties as in such a formation. Dinci is in now at this moment. So I'm shooting against the 6th Regiment. He retreated a little and I followed some steps. I have to be cautious with like all-in attacks on my right, because I know that he will run away. So overall with France, it's you get only very limited chances when you are attacking. So normally you have 1 or maybe 2 chances for a decisive attack. If this doesn't work, then you are out of options basically. So yeah, the attacks you do have to work. I'm still shooting some of the 18th Regiment guys over here, and here Ultimo is walking with his foot guard. He's walking with all those musketeers. Only this one is almost in position, or not even in position. So this is a great moment for a decisive attack on the Prussians. But yeah, we actually see the attack. He did not attack those Prussian Fusiliers. You saw they were standing in their formation, but they had no attack order on them. And now Dinci retreats his Spanish Lanceros again, while his backup lines are not ready in position. This is something you don't want to happen. The lances of Prussia are incoming on your lines, the Spanish square, but the backup lines are not ready to shoot. Now he gives an attack order, but this is absolutely the wrong thing to do now, because you must never give attack orders when you're moving. Especially when you're moving sideways, because this will happen. They are going to the perfect angle and to the perfect position for a volley, and this is not what you want. You want them to shoot right now, because otherwise the cavalry is going away again, and you haven't shot a volley. Same situation happens again. He's again moving sideways. The cavalry is there, and he gives an attack order. Don't give attack orders, just stay there and shoot, and don't move so much, especially not with your backup lines. You want them to be there to be able to shoot at enemy cavalry, to guard your units in the first row, and not to move around and not being able to shoot when the enemy cavalry is approaching. So by not charging the light infantry when they were exposed, they are still around with 55, and the gap is kind of closed. It's still very attackable here with Spain, because Spain could just use the cavalry here next to the red line, attack those Prussian cavalry, and follow up with line infantry. But yeah, he pushes now, and Prussia is falling back a bit too slow. He's just walking and gets some shots in from the Spanish Fusiliers over here. Some light infantry followed a bit too far and got a volley in of this Prussian musketeer unit, but Ultimo decided against a counterattack, which is kind of wise because those light infantry units and those Fusiliers are in position to shoot. So I see that Goldi is preparing an attack on his far left, on my right, so I engage in the middle with my voltigeurs as a meat shield. They are out of ammunition and did their job. I see that there is once again only a Chevaulegère Lancer unit back here, so no shooter cuff, no backlines. This is a militia which can't square, so I'm approaching. I have to micro at the same time over here. I use my militia sideways. I thought that the chasseur cheval might shoot them, but they didn't. They shot the right unit. Our men are running, sir! So I'm microing over here and here at the same time. He missed the square with the 18th Regiment. The militia is out, and I'm pushing with all three units. I made squares over here. I'm countercharging the chasseur cheval. I thought I might get away with my right flank, but I didn't. So he catched me. But he still doesn't see what is happening to his only old guard and his center. His small units are all out. My chasseur cheval are still around with 26, and I also got a charge on his old guard. Over here I'm using the militia still as a meat shield. He shoots at my Swiss foot, so, but his lances are out. I saved my chasseur cheval and tried to get out of the fight with my Swiss foot and old guard. Well, I did a micromanagement mistake here with my Fusiliers and get some shots in, but it's not too bad. I countercharge again against the chasseur cheval. This means the loss of the chasseur cheval because his other units will shoot my cavalry, but more importantly, I get out with my infantry, while yeah, I get countercharged by this unit, but I have the old guard down to 68 with no losses basically on my three infantry units, only the loss of those voltigeurs without ammunition and one cavalry. So this is great for me. He has to fill the gap with his backup lines from the center, and by this has no backup lines for his light infantry anymore in the center. I deploy for a counterattack his other cavalry here from his left flank, and he is out of cavalry on his left, so that means that I can push him in front of me now, and he has basically to just to run away. He can only run away or kite. Dinci did not take advantage of the Prussian deployment mistakes here on the flank, but took the road with his units over here and filled the gap between us because of me pushing France in front of me, and counters the Prussian units. He did not lose any of his cavalry, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, no. Everything is still around. So this is nice, and I'm, I have to watch the stake line. There are a lot of them, to not run through them with my cavalry and my general. But I was confident to know the stake lines. My militia is back in the game and I can use them later for another attack while I'm pushing the French in front of me. He has still 3 cavalry units, so it's still a force to be reckoned with, but yeah, I also still have 3 cavalry. One of them is a bit low with 23. But I have 2 old guards and he has only 1, and this is limited, very limited in numbers already. So, not much happening on the other side. So this is the perfect time to push in the middle now. It's very good to use the road for light infantry, but in this situation he can't really shoot at the Fusiliers in this angle, which is fine if he shoots the musketeers. Luckily Ultimo shot the light infantry and not the approaching Walloon guard, which got a very good volley on the musketeers now. They should really get out of this situation. But they shoot again at the light infantry and go even closer to the Walloon guard, which is definitely the wrong move. They are kind of used as a meat shield once again, and go even closer to the old guard. I get a full volley with my old guard on the Prussian lances and a full volley with my 18th regiment on the approaching chasseur cheval. I squared both units. I took some casualties because of the late square, but this was definitely worth it to shoot the full volley. And I retreated my squares to not get shot while I'm redeploying. Their cavalry is already out. I'm ready for a counterattack with my chasseur cheval. He shot my Swiss foot with his 6th regiment, but has only 46 Fusiliers. I see the lances incoming behind his square. He's too close to his square now. I did not charge on the other side. Now I can charge through the square on his unit and break the square, probably, yeah. And especially shoot it now. The Spanish lances did some damage and return back to Dinci's lines here, and he also gets a shot on the Tovaci unit with his Fusiliers.
Your general has been killed. This is a black day.
So the Prussian cavalry did not do much in this battle so far. I managed to get killed by the stakes. I moved sideways with my general because I wanted to motivate my old guard, and the general and some bodyguards got killed. So unlucky for me, but it's good. It's all fine. I'm France. I have moral, and I have 2 guards
running, sir.
on each flank. So this is fine. I get a shot or a good, very good position on against the Prussian foot guards, which are shot down within a minute by the Walloon guard and my old guard. I don't know why he did not get out of there in time. Once again, all backup lines are moving, or this backup line and other lines as well are moving while the cavalry unit of Ultimo approaches. This is something, as I said before, this must not happen. You want to be in position when the cavalry approaches, and this is kind of foreseeable that the cavalry is approaching, since you see them early on. When you give attack or they will move sideways. I already said that. In this case it worked because they found the perfect angle quite soon. But now the Fusiliers are too slow in walking up, and the Lanceros get shot by the musketeer units, and now are standing in front of the muskets of the Prussians. Over here, my general got into the formation of the Fusiliers. I'm approaching with all my units. My militia is leading and takes all the first shots from those 2 units, from the guard seamen especially, and I get my chasseur cheval around the flank. His lances are really used wrong, always in the center and not on the flank. They could have destroyed my chasseur cheval here on the flank by now, but they were all of his lancer attacks were always through the center. This is definitely something wrong in my opinion. Over here, the Prussian cavalry did finally take advantage of the uncovered Spanish light infantry here in the center. Only Lanceros were there behind them, and of course they can't shoot, so this is very bad for the light infantry.
The entire unit is dead, sir.
But at the same time the Prussian musketeers shot the back of the Prussian cavalry, while they could not hit many of the Spanish lights on this distance. So it was not so bad. For Dinci, he saved his 35 light infantry, while the Prussian foot guards are upcoming and double lining. No, not double lining, I'm sorry, but still walking. Overall, I see people these days walking a lot, and I don't know why, because it's quite simple. You just double click and they will run. So the best thing is not to use shortcuts, because you will not be prepared for more laggy games where shortcuts simply don't work, because it takes a second for them to receive the order, and you will have clicked your shortcut already before they receive the order, and by this they will run. They will walk and not run. I'm sorry. So he got his last remaining chasseur cheval around my flank and forces me into squares. But I have my chasseur cheval ready to shoot his chasseur cheval, and I have all my infantry in square. While his guard seamen are shooting at my old guard, but they are still around with 80. And I get a full volley on his chasseur cheval, while I'm pushing with 2 lines in the center against his Swiss foot. Over here the Spanish are pushing. There were no light infantry units on Ultimo's right for quite a long time, so the Spanish could have gotten some shots on the light infantry, since he has light infantry on the flank. But a lot of things happened in the center, so it's kind of understandable that he had no time to micro this side as well. This chasseur cheval unit is out, and my chasseur cheval unit is in his ranks. His guard seamen have their retreat line cut off, and my units are ready to destroy them. While this, the 6th Regiment and the Swiss foot are running, and Ultimo is in retreat once again.
One of our units has used all its ammunition, sir.
Talking about those attack orders, it's better to not use them instead of using them in a wrong way. You really need to understand the way this game works. to use those those attack orders. And as I explained, when your unit is moving, you should not use them. You should only use them when you have a clear line of sight. This is the most important thing. I hear often, oh, they are bugging out or something. No, they are not. They are when you give an attack order, they are searching for the perfect position and perfect line of sight. And if they don't have a line of sight because of small ridges or hills or other things people are maybe not aware of when they are watching the battle from this distance here with this camera, then yeah, they will the unit will walk up and yeah, search for a better line of sight position. So only use them when your unit is approaching forward. Then you can give attackers like in such a situation, but definitely not when you're walking sideways. Overall, it's not even necessary so that often that to use attack orders. And it's also important to not have your backup lines and overall too many units on a move at the same time, because when you play against players who take advantage of this, then this is a very good moment for a counter attack or an attack overall, when all your units, as we have seen in this game very often from Prussia and from Spain, both could have taken advantage of such movements from the other and attack with cavalry and follow with line infantry, because the other guys' units would not be able to shoot in time. Probably they would have given panic attack orders, and by this they while they were moving, and this, as I just pointed out, doesn't help either.
Is soon to be yours.
So we pushed them quite far away from the middle and destroyed their forces. This was the first game of this matchup. They decided to play this map, Grassy Flatlands. Was a nice game. I don't like mirror matches that much overall. On Grassy it's okay.
We have killed their general, sir. Now they must break.
So Goldi's defensive build did not really pay off. I don't think that he got much out of his 6th regiment, and yeah, his attack on his far left did not work, while he missed my simultaneous attack in the center and lost a lot of units because of this. So on Grassy it's important to always have an overview of the battle, and by this to not miss situations like in this scenario. My old guard did very well. My Voltiges did as well. 96 is quite a nice, are quite nice stats here for Grassy Flatlands. And my Chasseur Cheval did well as well. So I hope you liked me explaining some stuff about Grassy Flatlands and the tactics here. Maybe you learned something, I don't know. And yeah, thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.